Everyone. Today, we're diving into Ralph Ellison's absolute masterpiece, Invisible Man. This is a book that takes that powerful idea and uses it to explore the very heart of America. We're going to follow the narrator on this incredible journey from being completely unseen by the world to, finally, and so powerfully, seeing himself.
The novel just drops you right in with this line. It's one of the most famous openings in all of literature. And right away, you know this isn't about magic or potions. This is a declaration, a statement of fact about a social reality. It forces you to ask, okay, invisible to who, and more importantly, why?
And this is the whole key to the book right here. The narrator, he's not a ghost. He's a real, flesh and blood person. The problem isn't with him, it's with what he calls the inner eyes of the people looking at him. See, they don't see him. They see stereotypes, they see their own fears, their own ideas, anything but the actual human being standing right there. And that struggle, the fight just to be truly seen for who you are, well, that's the engine that drives this entire story.
Okay, so how do you even begin to navigate a world that won't acknowledge you're even there? Well, early on in his life, our narrator gets caught between two totally conflicting pieces of advice about how to survive in this society that's already decided he's invisible.
Get this. On his deathbed, his grandfather drops this bombshell on the family. He leaves him with this haunting curse, really. He says that being meek, being agreeable, that's not a virtue, no. It's a dangerous activity. It's a kind of secret war against the whole system. And this riddle, this puzzle, is going to stick with our narrator through his entire journey.
So what does he do with his grandfather's warning? He does the exact opposite. He completely leans into humility. He thinks, if I just work hard, if I play by the rules that white society has set up, then eventually I'll get noticed, I'll be rewarded. He even gives a really successful valedictorian speech all about this idea.
But his reward for that incredible speech? It's a brutal, violent dose of reality. He's immediately forced into something called the battle royal. He's blindfolded, shoved into a boxing ring with other black boys, and forced to beat each other up for the sick entertainment of the town's white leaders. Any belief he had in progress through humility just gets beaten right out of him.
And if that wasn't horrifying enough, then comes the electrified rug. I mean, this is a truly awful detail. After the fight, the boys have to scramble for coins on a rug that's sending painful electric shocks through their bodies. Just think about that for a second. They are literally being paid to perform their own humiliation, turning their pain into a show for these laughing men.
So yeah, that brutal experience teaches the narrator a lesson he'll never forget. In his world, survival is all about performance. It's about putting on a mask, or maybe a whole bunch of them, to hide who you really are from a society that's basically hostile to your existence. And this right here really gets to the core of his internal battle. It's this constant tug-of-war. On one side, he can be the performer, the good, humble student that the establishment loves. On the other side, he can be the traitor his grandfather talked about, waging that secret war by yesing him to death. He's always torn. Which mask is he supposed to wear? And the real tragedy here is that even when he plays the part of the performer perfectly, he still loses. He makes one tiny, innocent mistake, and he gets kicked out of college. He did everything right. He wore the mask flawlessly, only to find out the game was rigged from the very beginning. That's a devastating thing to realize.
So cast out and completely disillusioned, he heads up to New York. And there, he finds an organization called the Brotherhood. It's this political group that seems to offer him a totally new identity, one based on ideology, not on race. But as he's about to find out, this is just a different kind of blindness. His time with the Brotherhood follows this classic pattern, right? At first, he's all in. He embraces their rigid ideology and becomes this amazing speaker for their cause. But then the cracks start to show. He starts to see that the Brotherhood is willing to sacrifice the real people of Harlem for its abstract political theories. He realizes they don't see him as a person either, they just see him as a tool.
And this is where a character like Roz the Exhorter comes crashing in. Roz is this fiery black nationalist, and he sees the Brotherhood for exactly what it is, just another white power structure using black people for its own goals. His challenges force our narrator to face the uncomfortable truth that this new identity might be just as fake as the old one.
So if society gives you false masks, and ideology gives you a different kind of blindness, where on earth do you find a true identity? Well, for the author, Ralph Ellison, the answer was always right there, rooted in the incredible cultural traditions of the black community, in the folklore, the music, and the stories.
Ellison himself said the folklore isn't just a bunch of cute stories. No, it's how a community defines itself. It's how it makes the world human on its own terms. It's this deep well of wisdom and an authentic source of identity.
And this is such a powerful idea, isn't it? When the world is constantly trying to tell you who you are, creating your own art, your own blues music, your own stories, is a profound act of resistance. It's like grabbing the microphone and saying, no, this is who we are. This is our truth.
And we see this all through the book. These are the places you find real wisdom. You have characters like Trueblood, who tells this raw, complicated story that comes straight out of folk tradition. And he has this deep understanding of life that our narrator, with all his fancy education and political speeches, just doesn't have.
Okay, so all of this brings us to the final, transformative part of the book. After being betrayed by pretty much everyone and escaping a massive riot, our narrator finally finds his own path to enlightenment. And he finds it in the last place you'd ever expect.
While he's on the run, he throws on a disguise, and suddenly, people start mistaking him for this guy named Reinhardt. And he quickly realizes that Reinhardt is a master of identities. He's a gambler, a preacher, a pimp, a lover. The very existence of this guy just shatters the narrator's whole idea of a single, stable self. It opens his eyes to the fact that reality is chaotic, it's fluid, it's just pure possibility. And then, in the middle of all the riot's chaos, his running comes to a very sudden stop. He falls right through an open manhole. Now, this physical fall is, of course, hugely symbolic. He is literally going underground, getting away from the world of fake identities, and finding a space where he can finally just be with himself. So what does he do down in this forgotten basement room? He fills it with light. 1,369 light bulbs, to be exact. He wires every single one himself, stealing the power from the city above. It's just this magnificent act of defiance. He is lighting up his own world on his own terms. And this is the ultimate flip, the big reversal. The invisibility that was forced on him, that was a curse his whole life, has now become his greatest strength, his greatest tool. By stepping away from a world that refuses to see him, he can finally, truly see himself. He is free to be as complex as he really is, and at last, he's free to write his own story. The book ends with this incredible line, turning the question right back around on us, the readers. It suggests that this whole journey, from being unseen to finding yourself, isn't just the story of one black man in America. It's a universal human story. And on those lower frequencies, as he puts it, he might just be speaking for you too.